Hey guys, Carlos Cortez here. Hope you're doing well. Just friendly reminder that this podcast is for educational purposes only. This is not investment advice. If you are interested in financial advice, give us a call, 813-448-3446 to have a private consultation to see what best fits your needs. As we go into 2023, I hope you've made some changes in your portfolio. I hope that things are getting better for you and your families, that we are not just solely talking about and relying on money, but it is just a tool. We need to understand that our faith relies on Christ and not the money in our bank account. For many of you, you will be challenged on those two things. Do I trust the money in my bank account? Do I trust the precious metals that's in my closet? Or do I trust God's word? God has a way to humble us in many, many ways. He has a way to strip us pretty much of everything, and just to get our attention. He's done it to me. If you guys remember in COVID, I literally died. I was pretty jacked up financially from that, and I was literally tasting death. So I just wanted to remind you that our faith is not in the dollar, guys. So no matter what Jerome Powell says this week in regards to if inflation is cooling off, or what Biden says, or if the bull run is happening, or if another massive 20-30% is going to happen, there's a solution for all this. So, which leads me to my topic that I would like simply to discuss: the volatility index. The VIX is what we call it. If you can pull up a chart of the VIX, you'll see it here, just trading at $15. Now, for those of you that haven't followed me, I'm always talking about the volatility index because this is a key measurement of what can be expected for months, for weeks, just a temperature gauge of what the actual market is doing in regards to the volatility, the fear and greed index. Now, this has been used for over 60 years, and now they just changed it to the volatility index 1D, which I mean, it's kind of like a newer age VIX, but the OGs, the investment banks are still talking about the VIX. So I'm rolling with the VIX as my key barometer of what the markets are going to do. Now, the thing is with the volatility index, you guys already know the problems that we have, and we can skin them off one by one with the bank closures, with rising inflation. Even though it might be cooling off, is that data really legit? I always wondered, like, where are they getting this data? How trustworthy is this data? We can't even elect the right president, for crying out loud. How do we know this freaking data is the real data? You guys know what the real data is when you go pay at the pump, because it is the real cost of inflation. The pump is just one asset class of the consumer price index that has been extrapolated. So food and petroleum is not counted towards the consumer price index, the CPI. So this is why when you go in to the grocery store and you see milk at $7-8 and gas just going up and going up uncontrollably, is because they do not consider those two asset classes a part of the consumer price index, especially if you're on fixed income. For those of you that are on fixed income, the pricing is ridiculous because they take petroleum and food out of the COLA adjustment for your Social Security. So this is why inflation is such a hot topic, because it's uncontrollable, especially when you're on Social Security. Social Security is not meant to keep up with inflation. Definitely not food and petroleum, which is really where the rubber meets the road. That's what we consume. So inflation has already cooled, and you really got to kind of have a discernment of, like Ronald Reagan said, take a take an inventory of what's really going on, right? You have a mall in San Francisco that literally just gave the keys, a mall, a Westfield mall in San Francisco that literally just said, here are the keys, Mr. Bank, just take it. No one shopping here. Has become a homeless shelter now. I'm just kidding. But people are so, they don't even want to go to the mall. When you see your mall have tattoo shops and karate or taekwondo gymnasiums in the mall, or barber shops. Now the latest one is pickleball. They have these massive spaces, and so they're utilizing for other things other than shopping. So you're seeing recreational uses. Eventually, it's going to be one big gym. Get a tattoo, a haircut, and go work out at the mall. But the malls are dying. Amazon has completely destroyed the malls. The internet has completely destroyed the malls. And they'll continue to do this. This is not a new trend. This has been a trend for the past 10 years now, where foot traffic has been slowed down. And honestly, it's like they're going to force everybody into a social credit score. They want everybody to be completely traced and tracked with AI. They want everybody to be vaccinated. They want everybody to be in line because they want to control us. They can't take our guns away, but at least they can track us and see where we're going to be headed at. So as long as we have the Second Amendment, we will always be America. It's funny because when I was traveling internationally earlier this year, I specifically said, like, are you guys allowed to have guns? And they just gave me this long excuse. Yeah, we can have guns as long as it's in your house, and you got to get a private license, and you have to prove that you can shoot it, and you won't do this. I'm like, what? Wow, okay. America, man, we're just built different because we are different, because we are Americans. And so we must protect the Second Amendment. It is a huge part of our winning success. We are strong, guys. We are strong. We are absolutely strong. And it's my opinion with this actual fake bull run, this is what I'm seeing, is that we have this low volatility index. We still got the fundamental problems with the banks. We haven't even really solved the inflation issue. Yes, okay, they say inflation is cooling off. All right. That's because they printed more money. And so what's going to happen is you're going to have a deflationary period. And that is, like I said in my last podcast, that's very dangerous. So if a business owner buys a cell phone for $1,000 and he wants to sell it for a 20% profit at $1,200, then all the prices drop during a deflationary period to $800. That business owner just lost $200, and now he can't even hire workers, and so those workers are out of a job. Those single moms, those family members are not able to provide for their families, so they hoard cash and they don't spend it. That's what you do in deflationary periods. You hoard cash and you don't spend it because the consumer is thinking, well, why spend it now when it's going to be cheaper next week? Why spend it now when next month is going to be cheaper and I can save? So it's a spirit of like hoarding of cash. And so the economy is not stimulating. There's no cash flow that businesses has. There's nothing. And we see how the federal government reacts to hyperinflation. Did they really do a good job? imagine de-inflation. How are they going to do it? Did they do a good job with saving the banks? Of course they did. They just bailed them out. Screw what the law says. Yellen just wants to keep on bailing them out. It's like an Oprah Winfrey show. Where are they getting the ability to do this? Have you sat down and thought about where in God's green earth are we going to pay for this debt? Well, I'll tell you one way that they're banking on, and it's very obvious. But as you come and see this new election in 2024, pay attention to the taxes the politicians want to talk about. What is their definition of a tax plan? And so that tax plan is the ordinary income taxation. When you pull money out of your IRAs, how is that being taxed? That's taxed as ordinary income. And unfortunately, we have, 35 trillion, maybe $40 trillion in government-owned accounts called traditional IRAs, that the government can say, hey, we want to tax you at a higher tax bracket. These IRAs are legit there to be a tax bomb for you. So if you're on Social Security and you pull money from your traditional IRAs and your 401ks, the income, that counts as income towards the calculation of your Social Security. This is why they keep on printing money, because there's so many people saving into their 401ks and IRAs. It is a slaughterhouse. It is a slaughterhouse. You just keep on coming, keep on coming, keep on coming. This is how they're printing money. This is how they can financially inoculate you. I've seen it for decades now, and I'm sounding an alarm. You've heard it here. So you have stock market manipulation. You have overtaxation of your IRAs. You have bank failures. You have bank runs. You have supply chain issues, chicken farms going belly up. I mean, there's so much stuff. Inequities, our president our 45th president trying to run it for the third time. And this nut job of a president wants the real president to be locked up. But yet the stock market is fine and dandy. We have the inflation is cooling off. Invest your life savings in red money. That's not financial advice, by the way. But it mind boggles me how people think that this is real. And okay, so what if I'm wrong and they're right? And this is the next 10-year bull run that's going to happen this weekend or, come Monday. Okay, so you made 20% on your money. Is that really going to change your life? If you've lost half of your money, it will change your life, though. So this is why it's important to have yellow money. It's important to have green money. And it's important to know what red money is. Red money is unlimited losses, unlimited gains. It goes up and down. Your house, your mutual funds, your stocks, your Disney stocks, your bonds, your precious metals. All this is red money. There is no control on red money. You don't have any control on it. It goes up and down as it pleases. And yes, precious metals is traded on Chicago Board of Exchange. It is just a hedge, but it still has crazy amounts of fluctuations. Yellow money is going to be popular in my eyes, is gaining a lot more traction because the market has shown that it's almost in consolidation, and it wants to breathe. It wants to rally back up, but there's all these pressures from the economy, like printing money, and crazy inflation and inverted yield curves. There's all these pressures that is not allowing it to naturally, organically grow. So America's at a discount. We know that. We know that America's at a discount. Inflation has to cool off. We got to get the job numbers back. And we still have to fix this labor shortage issue. This labor shortage is terrible. They've vaccinated so many people, and like even like the pilots right now, they are not even being truthful. I mean, the fact of the matter is there's pilots. I spoke to American Airlines pilot, and I won't say his name, but he's like, we just have a massive amount of disabled pilots because of the mandated vaccine. This is why when you go on the airplanes, every plane is packed because there's not enough pilots in the system. Well, they force jab pretty much all of them, and it's difficult to fly commercial right now, and it's crazy problematic. The other thing is the prices are they were cheap, and a lot of people were traveling because the flights were so cheap, but now they're starting to creep back up again. And they're getting very limited on their flight schedules. So the supply and demand is increasing the cost per ticket now. But we have a labor shortage, guys, and we have to fix this. I mean, it's bad. Like everywhere you go, you have to wait for terrible service. You have to wait. I mean, I know it's all over the country because it's not just here in Florida. It is everywhere. There's a labor shortage like you wouldn't believe. But you turn on the tube, and everything's fine and dandy, right? With the lovely press secretary. How many times have they switched them up now? Oh my goodness. So the labor shortage has to get a handle on. You have the Walton family selling shares, $400 million worth of shares. Are they really selling it to give it away to the poor, or do they know something? Like, what is going on? Like $400 million worth of shares between 3 family members? Like the Walton family, like, you know, the owners of Walmart, Sam Walton, his beneficiaries, they're selling out of Walmart. Like Walmart is, I mean, not only is that woke company is recession proof. Like everybody goes to Walmart all the time. Despite the market goes up, down, or sideways, people are going to Walmart. They're buying their groceries. They're buying their drugs. They're buying their tires. I mean, you can buy clothes, tires, food, pretty much. You used to be able to buy ammo before they went full blown woke. KRE, looking at KRE again, is trading at 43.14. When I'm looking at this, by the time you see it, probably up or down, I don't know, but it's still down 30% year to date. So you mean to tell me the bull market is over? This is what they're saying, like on CNBC, on Fox, the bull market is over because we see a little bit of tick down on inflation, and all of a sudden, great, the bull market is over. But we have these underlying major elephants in the room, like labor shortage. You have Walton family selling $400 million worth of shares. I don't think they need the money, but why are they selling their shares? You have inflation that's still high. Okay, so inflation went from like 9 to 8 to 5.25 to 5. It's still freaking high. Like, it's still high, guys. We need to work on this labor shortage. We have a banking crisis still that never got subsided. What are we doing? Why are they saying and put your money back in the market? You know why? Because they want to make the Democrat heads, they want to make them look good. And the number one way to make them look good is through what? Money, the stock market. It's the universal language. It is a universal language that brings and separates people together. So if they can pump up the stock market, put President Trump in a penitentiary, wipe out that threat, create an AI system that tracks all of us. Sounds like the New World Order is right around the corner, huh? Just take an inventory, guys. Just take an inventory. That's what I'm saying. Like, our guns, man. Our guns is our... That's our lifeline. Our Second Amendment. Like, we have to protect that, because what these people want to do is they not just want to trace us. They want to control us. Just like how the puppet masters move Biden, they want to do that to all of Americans. So it is completely sad to see this happening. But the stock market right now, it is not a safe place, man. Unless you have a tactical money manager. This is what we can offer as a solution. A tactical money manager is a yellow money manager, is basically has ability to get in and out of the market, that can invest in treasury bills, that can be defensive, that can be aggressive when it needs to be aggressive, and it completely is standard deviation focus, meaning like if it's over 12, that is pretty high. But if it's under 10, that's okay. And if you're in your 60s, you need to know what your standard deviation is, because you want to stay under 10. Now, the portfolio can be of 15, which is high. The stock market is 15. The S&P 500 is a 15. The Dow Jones is a 16. Those are high levels. But if you cut your portfolio in half and have it in a safer place with a standard deviation of 0, now you just cut your portfolio to a 7.5, 8, maybe standard deviation. So you can afford to take a risk because you already allocated a safe part of your money. This is why I like green money. It's our safe money contracts. And we have insurance contracts that literally have the capability of beating the S&P 500 because they have yellow money managers inside of a safe money contract that has high growth. Now they got them A-rated carriers with no fees, unlimited growth. Call us. We want to make sure that this is a suitable transaction for you. 813-448-3446. So many people have already secured their retirement through safe money strategies. That's what we want to do here at Cortez Wealth, is we want to protect you from financial resets. We want to protect you from a financial meltdown. There's a lot of confusion, and we know who works in that spirit of confusion. It is not God, that's for sure. You know who loves chaos and confusion. It reeks and smells of it, as all the evidence, as I point down, boom, 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 boom. There's no reason to panic, guys. There's no reason to panic. If you already done your homework, if you already have a strategy, if you already have a plan, and let me tell you, I see all the comments, well, I'm just going to buy precious metals and call it a day. Guys, that's risky. So you're going to take all your assets and put it into one. Yes, we know the Bible says the silver is mine. Yes, the gold is mine. I understand. But we also need to be a steward as well. We need to diversify our assets. And that's all I'm saying. We need to diversify our assets. And what that means is you need to have a safe place to put your money where you have a contract guarantee saying my money is protected, locked up and insured. Then I have a bucket of money that can take some risk. And I have a bucket of money for emergency cash positions or a rainy day fund where, God forbid, the roof falls off, the 4 tires blow up, or my kid loses a tooth and needs crazy oral surgery, there's money there for those expenses that doesn't raid your retirement, that doesn't raid your income bucket, that doesn't raid your income producing assets. We can help you. We can help you categorize this money. We also use a yellow, red, and green money system that we can color code your money so you know which money is used for what. Red is going to be high risk money. You can have low risk money in red, but there's no control there. I mean, it's the stock market. It's things like the bonds. It's things like mutual funds, ETFs. All these things are red money accounts. Your whole life, if you've had a 401k, you've had red money. There's no control there. As a matter of fact, if you've seen my other podcasts with 401ks, call your 401k provider and see how much you can get out and see if you actually even own your 401k. And I'll bet you'll be pretty surprised. So our green money, safe money contracts are some of the best in the industries. And I've spoken with some of the top CEOs in major insurance, non-woke insurance companies, and they're out there. They're just not at the big banks. They're not at the banks that advertise during the Super Bowl or that you see when the NBA playoffs or the NHL playoffs are happening. They just don't want to advertise. They'd rather spend the distribution in the actual product and have a great product so that the client could achieve better returns with a great company. So there's so much there that I could talk about that I remember growing up as a financial advisor. I was so worried about having the best product, like having the best programs. And I made a commitment to myself that I will always learn the best programs so that I can give it to the client. And when I was working with these investment representatives, I would ask them, hey, so we have this product at our bank. What about Wells Fargo? What about Merrill? What about Edward Jones? What does this product look like on their platform? And they would always tell me, oh man, it is much worse over there. You don't even want to do it. Or it's incredible. Like, it's so much better over there. Or they would say, it's the same product, but the bank makes pretty much all the money and your client is haircutted. Like, they would just tell me because they had no, they knew, but they had no reason to lie to me. And so the distributions of these products are completely different from one channel to another, from an independent guy to a guy that works at a big conglomerate bank to a guy that basically works at a depository bank, to another independent. Now what you're going to see is these big banks, they're going to start saying, oh, we're independent. And they're creating these little independent financial advisor offices, and they're not really independent. They're still promoting the big bank products. So be careful with that. So this podcast literally is going to be a shorter one. I just wanted to let you know that I really feel, and through my analysis and my stock screeners, and I'll pull them up. I'll start to pull up my stock screeners. We want to make sure that we are technical and fundamentally sound here. But looking at my charts here, what I'm seeing is that the volatility index is extremely low. The market is starting to pick up a little bit of steam. So that means to tell me that they are believing that this inflation is cooling off. But I don't think, I mean, the market just wants a positive news, and inflation cooling off a little bit is positive news. It's a great step towards a rebuilding economy, even with the Luciferian Joe Biden. But you still have to be careful because this happened in 2007. Market went up, and then boom, bank failures. And the market was down 38% in 1 year. And I don't want that to happen. Get you some safe money, guys. Protect yourselves. Try not to time the market. Leave it to the professionals. Like, you really don't understand. Like, if you try to time the market, you're going against a mammoth that you will not defeat. And recently when I was in New York City, I had the opportunity to see a trading floor, and all these guys were there to take money from retail investors. Like that, these guys are just Harvard, MIT, mathematical grads. I mean, they're just brains. They don't have any emotions. They just go in and do a job for the institution. And that's what they do. That's what they do. They live and breathe this stuff. And the retail guy gets hurt. It's just the way it is. The small guy gets hurt. So I just wanted to have this little podcast, is that be mindful of head fakes. Head fakes is when you think I'm going this way, but I'm going to fake you that way, right? So be very mindful of head fakes and the fake bull runs. Inflation is cooling off, but we still got problems with the labor shortage. We still got problems with the banks. We still got problems with supply chain issues. There's still problems with student loans, for crying out loud. You know, I mean, we never really even got over the mortgage crisis, really. So there is something like the pension crisis that I really see that's going to happen probably in another 5 to 7 more years, when we have all these millennials that want to drive Uber, and they don't really want to work anymore, W-2. The employment infrastructure of America is changing. Like, people want to be 1099 now. They want to live, work, play. They don't want to clock in 9 to 5. I mean, heck, you got even people working from home, quiet quitting, working 3 or 4 jobs and doing the basics just to keep the job. And if they get fired, oh well, because they have 2 or 3 jobs anyway, working from home. So be mindful of that, guys, and just know that there's other underlining issues that could hugely impact the economy. And I'm not buying this fake bull run. I'm calling BS on it. I really think that the market will go up. I really think the market could go up another 10, 15%, but it also will slam down 20, 30% after that. So be very careful. If you have a good money manager that knows what he's doing, great. If you need one that can make money off of these volatile swings that are going to happen, despite what the volatility index says, even though it's at 1501 right now, you need a good yellow money manager that can get in, get out of the market, that can fight those traders from MIT and Harvard and Yale that the big banks hire. Get those guys on your side. Give us a call, 813-448-3446, or visit us at cortezwm.com. My verse today, Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Fear is a big thing. Fear in our marriages, in our lives, in our kids' lives, in our health. Put it on the cross. Give it to God. He says that he will take care of us. He says, don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding. Like, when God speaks to you, there is nothing else that matters. Nothing else matters when there is the peace of God on your life. Pray with him daily. Read your Bibles. Men, do your push-ups. Be strong. Exercise. Build your faith pillar, your fitness pillar, your family pillar. Focus on the family. As As the liberals try to take Father's Day away from us, notice that even the liberals still miss the conservative values, because there's honor in God. The devil must bow down to his righteousness. And as this woke agenda gets very flamboyant and thrivant, they will all fall on their knees eventually and acknowledge that Jesus is Lord. That's my prayer, and I totally see it. I totally see it. That being said, I'm out of here, guys. Give us a call, 813-448-3446. And don't forget to visit Switchman Products USA if you want non-toxic American-made products in your home. And we are here to help you. Give us a call, 813-448-3446. Have a great one. Bye.